Some stories defy all logic, leaving a trail of questions no one can answer. What you're about to see are videos that hint at a darker truth beneath the surface of the world. From pop culture legends to chilling urban myths, they are all videos no one can explain.
Did you know in Los Angeles, 200 fans vanished from the internet after one Travis Scott show? In 2023, Travis Scott held a secret after-party concert in Los Angeles for 200 hand-picked fans. The event was private, no phones, no cameras. That night, he performed an unreleased song called Eye of the Fallen. What happened inside remains a mystery. But after the show, every attendee vanished from the internet. Social media accounts were deleted, phones went silent, and some fans reportedly cut off all contact with their families. Rumors swirled that the song triggered mass hallucinations. 5 days later, one girl was found barefoot and confused, wandering near a highway whispering, "I saw him without his skin." Then things got darker. A fan named Elijah Martinez was found dead in his apartment. The windows were covered in aluminum foil, and bizarre symbols were drawn all over the walls in black ink. His speakers were still playing Eye of the Fallen on loop. There were no drugs, no wounds, and no signs of struggle. The full track has never been released, and those who heard it, they've never spoken about what they saw, because something followed them home.
The rumors about a concert after-party, a story so bizarre it's become a modern myth. Was this just a wild rumor, or a dark secret that faded into myth?
These twin sisters were pure nightmare fuel. Back in 1958, deep in the woods of Mississippi, lived two sisters, May and Elsie Holloway, identical twins. They stayed out on a crumbling farm with their father, Old Reverend Holloway. Folks in town always felt uneasy around the girls. They spoke in whispers, finished each other's sentences. Over time, they became known as the Witch Twins. In June of '58, the Reverend fell ill. Desperate, the twins called for the town doctor, a young man named Ellis Crane. He drove out alone to the Holloway farm, but minutes after arriving, the Reverend took his final breath. May and Elsie just stood there, silent, staring. Then May said, "You let Daddy die." Ellis tried to explain. Before he could react, the twins lunged at him. When Ellis woke up, he was tied to a chair in the root cellar. He wasn't alone. 3 others were trapped down there, all of them missing locals. Then the girls came in holding a black Bible and asked, "Who wants to help bury Daddy?" Ellis offered. He followed them upstairs, waited for the right moment, and bolted for the front door. But it wouldn't open. The handle turned, but the wood wouldn't budge. Behind him, 2 voices whispered in unison, "You're next."
A remote house, a pair of mourning twins, and a captive doctor. This tale of abduction and terror has all the makings of an urban legend. But with a story this detailed, you have to wonder where the truth ends.
This girl claimed to remember her past life, and everything changed the moment she saw her husband again. In 1962, in a quiet town in Ohio, a little girl named Sarah Mitchell began saying strange things at just 4 years old. She told her parents, "I'm not from here. My real home is in Charleston. I was married once, in another life, and I died bringing our child into the world." Her parents thought it was just a phase until she said his name, James Walker. She described streets she'd never seen. By age 9, her story reached a family friend who worked in local journalism. A small team followed her to Charleston, and that's when it happened. Sarah stepped out of the car and, without hesitation, led them to a blue house on Magnolia Avenue. She stood on the porch, staring. When James Walker stepped outside, now in his 40s, Sarah locked eyes with him and whispered something only he could have known. His face went pale. She described the inside of the house, a silver locket, the name of their son. No one could explain it. Not science, not logic, just a little girl, haunted by memories that refused to die. And when she stood before her own former grave, she didn't cry. She just whispered, "I remember."
A young girl remembers her past life in intricate detail and eventually seeks out her old family. The story is a fascinating look at the possibility of reincarnation. The question is, are these memories real or just a trick of the mind?
Did you know in America, Ariana Grande visited a gateway to hell? Ariana Grande once shared a chilling experience she had while visiting Stull Cemetery in Kansas, a place known as one of the most haunted cemeteries in the US, and even called a gateway to hell. She went there out of curiosity, not expecting anything serious. But as soon as she arrived, she felt a heavy, dark energy around her. She said the air smelled like sulfur, often connected to demons, and the feeling of being watched made her nervous. Trying to capture the moment, she took a photo with her phone. When she looked at it, she saw what appeared to be a terrifying demon face floating near her. Frightened, Ariana quickly left the cemetery. But the strange feeling didn't stop there. She later tried to look at the photo again, but it had disappeared from her phone without a trace. She said she couldn't explain what happened, but she was sure she had seen something evil that night. Some believe she may have brought something back with her. Though Ariana was not hurt, others who visit Stool Cemetery have reported bad luck, nightmares, and even sickness afterward.
A pop star visits a haunted cemetery and claims she was visited by a demon, a story so strange it made headlines. Could one of the world's most famous singers be telling the truth, or is this just another spooky celebrity tale?
The priests cut off her head, sealed it in a box, and buried it deep beneath the Vatican. In the year 1742, a young nun named Josephine Rosenthal was found to be pregnant, but she insisted she had never touched a man. When doctors examined her, they confirmed the unthinkable. She was still a virgin. Some called it divine, others whispered, cursed. Josephine died during childbirth, but her daughter Maria survived, and from the moment she took her first breath, people were afraid. She looked different, with both male and female features. The church called her an omen, a warning. Floods, fires, disease, they blamed it all on her. When Maria turned 33, the same age Christ died, the church made a decision. They claimed it was holy justice, but Maria refused to die at their hands. She ended her life before they could. The priests panicked. They feared what she truly was, so they severed her head, sealed it inside an iron box, and buried it deep beneath the Vatican archives.
A story so bizarre, it defies all logic. An unexplained event in a secluded convent leaves a trail of questions with no answers. This is a chilling mystery no one can solve.
Did you know in America, Michael Jackson's ghost was caught on camera inside Neverland Ranch? After Michael Jackson died in 2009, people started saying his ghost was still at Neverland Ranch. One of the most talked about moments happened during a CNN news report filmed inside the mansion. As the reporter walked through the hallway, a shadowy figure quickly passed in the background. Viewers noticed it right away. It looked like a tall, thin man walking across the hall, just like Michael. The video went viral, and many believed it was his ghost. Staff at Neverland also said they heard strange sounds, like footsteps in empty rooms and doors opening by themselves. One night, a security guard heard soft humming from one of the closed rooms. When he opened the door, no one was inside, but the sound continued. He said it sounded like Michael's song, "You Are Not Alone." Another worker claimed they saw the grand piano playing by itself late at night. These events scared many people, and some refused to work there again. While some say it's just people's imagination, others believe Michael's spirit stayed behind in the place he once loved. Write your country and I'll make a video from there.
A news crew exploring a famous home captures a chilling anomaly in the background. A figure that appears to be the king of pop himself. A grieving fan's imagination, or a glimpse of a restless spirit.
This was the real-life Scooby Doo, and it was seriously creepy. Back in 1961, a traveling group called the Doober Scoobers made headlines for solving strange cold cases across Indiana. The team? 4 teenagers, and a giant Great Dane named Jasper, who they claimed could actually understand human language. They drove around in an old green van, showing up wherever weird stuff happened. Ghost sightings, missing people, creepy minds, and somehow they always got to the bottom of it. But in October of 1964, something went terribly wrong. They were in a town called Ember Falls, looking into a wave of disappearances connected to an old shut-down amusement park. Only 2 members made it out. The other 2 were found days later, deep inside a tunnel under the park. No injuries, just faces frozen in pure terror. But here's the disturbing part. In 1972, a hiker took a picture deep in the Ember Falls woods. It showed a tall figure, walking upright, with the head of a dog and around its neck, a ripped-up blue collar. The tag on it said, SD.
A group of teenagers and their dog investigate a local mystery, only to discover something truly terrifying. It sounds like a cartoon, but the chilling details and the unexplained ending make you question just how much of the story is fiction.
Did you know in Mexico, a toy was blamed for deep scratches on a man's chest? Two nursing students share a small apartment in the 1970s. One gets a Raggedy Ann doll as a gift and sets it on the couch. Soon, the doll moves on its own. Notes appear that say, "Help us," in tiny, shaky writing. The roommates hear soft rustling at night and find the doll in new places each morning. A friend visits and laughs at it. That night, deep scratches appear across his chest, as if drawn by small, angry hands. The air smells like old fabric and candles that were never lit. They call a priest, who brings Ed and Lorraine Warren. The Warrens say a dark spirit pretends to be a child to win pity. The doll is taken away and locked in a glass case. But the tragic part follows. A man at the museum mocks the doll, tapping the glass and daring it to do something. On his ride home, he loses control of his motorcycle and dies in a sudden crash. People say the doll watched him leave. Today it sits behind warning signs, and the case is never opened. Write your country and I'll make a video from there.
A haunted doll, famous for its supernatural abilities. This video tells the story of how a small change in its environment caused havoc. Are these just spooky tales, or a warning about the forces we can't see?
These are the real-life Powerpuff Girls, and their story is truly terrifying. In 1958, in a hidden lab deep in Nevada, the U.S. government started a secret project called Operation Blossom. It was led by a strange scientist named Dr. Clyde People. The goal was to create human weapons by changing their DNA. His experiments led to 3 genetically modified girls: Emily, who had super strength; Rose, who could control machines with her mind; and June, whose mind control was so powerful, even the scientists were afraid of it. To stop the girls from using their powers, they were forced to wear collars that kept their abilities under control. But things got darker. They were tested non-stop, kept in isolation, and treated like weapons, not like children. One day, during an experiment, June secretly used her mind control on Dr. People. Without knowing why, he left the remote for the collars under the table. He thought it was his own idea. That night, the girls took the remote and removed their collars. Then, everything exploded into chaos. Emily smashed walls with her strength. Rose shut down the lab's alarms and locked the doors. June calmly froze the terrified guards with her powers. They escaped into the desert, leaving destruction behind them. The government searched everywhere, but never found them. Years later, declassified files mentioned 3 pregnant women seen near military bases. Their story was erased from history, but one question remains: where are they now?
A real-life experiment gone wrong. 3 girls are rumored to have been given amazing powers. Is this just an urban legend based on a children's show, or a chilling look at a secret experiment we were never supposed to know about?
This man was the most dangerous in the world. In 1963, in New York City, a man named Jerry Dunk ran a small hot dog stand on Main Street. But his hot dogs weren't just snacks. They were a sensation. People said they were the best they'd ever tasted. No one knew what made them so good. Jerry's secret recipe was a closely guarded mystery. Families lined up around his stand. Jerry always greeted them with a warm smile and a friendly attitude. He'd chat with the dads, talk about sports, or fishing. Many of the fathers said, "I'm just going back to Jerry's for another hot dog," and left with a smile. But they never came home. Police started an investigation. At first, Jerry was all smiles, playful, helpful, saying, "I'm just a guy with a grill." But as more men went missing, the police searched his house. What they found was horrifying. In Jerry's basement, hidden behind a locked steel door, there was a full-size basketball court. But that wasn't the scary part. At the other end of the room stood a massive industrial incinerator, its walls blackened with soot. Next to it, piles of men's clothing. When the police found him in his secret hideout, Jerry just smiled and said, "First rule of the game, you gotta win." When they asked where the missing men were, he pointed to the incinerator and whispered, "I'm the king of Dunk." Then he ran straight toward the flames, and now you can probably guess how he kept his hot dogs hot.
A hot dog vendor is rumored to be using human meat. It's a classic urban legend, but the details in this story are specific enough to make you question every late-night snack you've ever had.
This girl claimed to be Cleopatra's friend in a past life, and it's one of the most chilling reincarnation cases in history. In the 1940s, a Kansas couple, John and Mary Carter, had a daughter named Emily. She seemed like any other child until, at the age of 6, she began making unsettling claims. "I lived in Egypt before. I miss my old home," Her parents thought it was just a phase sparked by her fascination with pyramids and Egyptology documentaries. But things got stranger. Emily began drawing hieroglyphs, saying, "This is my name." When asked where she'd learned them, she would insist, "I just know." Her parents dismissed it as a child's imagination. As Emily grew, her obsession with Egypt intensified. By the time she was 18, she had an uncanny knowledge of ancient Egyptian culture and symbols, despite never formally studying it. For her birthday, her parents decided to take her to Egypt, hoping to indulge her curiosity. Once inside the Great Pyramid of Giza, Emily acted as if she'd been there before. She corrected the tour guide's directions and confidently led the group through corridors. Then she stopped at a hidden doorway and whispered, "This is where I was last." Inside, they discovered an undisturbed chamber and a sarcophagus covered in hieroglyphs. The symbols perfectly matched the ones Emily had drawn as a child. She turned to her parents and said, "This is my name. This is who I was." The family was left in shock, unable to explain the unexplainable. And what she did next left the tourists inside run and scream.
A girl remembers her past life in an ancient civilization. It's a fascinating story, but the true horror is in the unexplained details, the things she knows she has no business knowing. The things you just witnessed exist in the dark corners of the digital world. You are not alone in seeing them. If these videos have left their mark, subscribe to the channel to see what we find next. Thank you for watching, and until next time.